Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CMATS Live. A lot of action happening the last couple minutes. You probably saw on the mats, or 0-0. Potentially, am I all alone here tonight? What's going on? Where's Big Steve? Where's medium-sized Juan Antonio? Either which way, I'm here. I'm here with sticks in my hands. As an instructor, what do we do when no one shows up to class? Do we just sit here and scroll the internet? Do we go on and check out other YouTube videos? Or do we still practice something and get something done for the day to get our practice time in? I like to think the latter. I like to continue practicing, getting stuff done. And I'm going to go through a couple simple ideas. A lot of times when people have their sticks at home, they're just sitting in a corner, that they feel that they aren't practicing. They walk by their sticks, they come to class, they bring their sticks, they go home, they set their sticks down, they're not practicing. I've always thought that even if you're at home and your sticks are in the corner and you even glanced at them for a second and just thought about them, I consider that practicing. I consider that engaging your mindset just for a split second even. And I give that a lot more credit probably than a lot of people do. So do note that if you're doing that and you feel like you haven't practiced, just look over your sticks and then go back to what you're doing. It's obviously important, whether it be homework or you're doing the job or anything else. But just taking that moment there allows you to experience just what brings about fun, what brings about something exciting that engages the mind, engages the body, engages the heart. So, yeah. So, or heart, also known as spirit. So, think of those concepts, that idea, when you're at home or you haven't trained in a while. Just look over your sticks and give it some credit. Okay, that being said, what else can I do when I'm on my own? One, I love practicing redondo. So again, learning the flow, keeping the flow, understanding timing. And you remember redondo. We've shown this lots on the Wednesday night feeds, where I'm in position where both sticks are on the right-hand side, and I strike across, and then I strike over the head. So I'm hitting the temple, and then the forehead. Temple, temple, forehead, temple, temple, forehead. Temple, temple, forehead, temple, temple, forehead. And this is a great little hitting pattern, striking exercise to understand movement of hips, to feel the flow of the art, and how we start to let our hands, when we have nothing in our hands, how much faster our hands flow. And again, finding timing, because when you're first learning this, you might look like this, right? Nope, that was wrong. Okay, start again. Nope, that was wrong. Okay, start again. Okay, there we go. So that's what it might look like when you're first starting out, and that's okay. It gets smoother. I've been practicing that little move right there since 1996 when I first learned it, the summer of 1996. Oh, we got Celefio DiCardi out there saying hi. Hello, Celefio DiCardi. Thank you for joining us tonight. Also, I forgot to say, if you are logged into Google's or you're logged into YouTube's, you can chat live with us, or with us, with me for sure. I got my chat board up. Love to hear from you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll answer them. So that's one little exercise. We call it redondo, okay? And then things you can learn, refining details about redondo. You can go as fast as you want. You can go as slow as you want. You can go just the wrists. You can go the elbows. And then you can go the shoulders. Nice big movements in the shoulders. But you know what we also might try and do next week? Just as a side note, in case I forget, we might go down to 24 frames per second, just to see what that looks like for sticks. Yeah, we might try that next week, because right now we're 60 frames per second. But who knows? We'll see what happens. So here we are. We got our redondo. And you can practice this, go for a couple minutes. It really works your grip as well, making sure you keep a strong grip. Because sometimes when you start moving along and you're in the beginning, you lose your grip. It ends up you losing your puño, the butt end of the stick down here. And you don't want to do that. So let's just move. Keep a good strong grip. And remember when you're gripping, you got that 3-finger tight grip. 3-finger tight, relax the forefinger and the thumb. It looks like I'm gripping with the forefinger and thumb right now, but I'm not. I got that nice tight 3-finger grip on both of those. What are some key concepts that I also can concern myself with when I'm training by myself? Well, as we do these, we can learn a couple other sets. We can learn to do what we call a double Sinawali, okay, where I'm hitting low and high. And then I'm also doing this one, which we call a 2-stick Sinawali, where I'm hitting high and then low, high and then low. And then we can learn all low technique ideas about hitting the knees and the legs, okay, nice and low. And then I can go back up into redondo, and then I can maybe go into double, I can go into the 2-stick, and then I can go right into the reverse Sinawali down low. And I can right from there back up into here. And finding flow. Putting all those together helps us that we move the stick around us and don't get hit. Otherwise, you get people when they first start learning and they accidentally hit themselves, and that's part of the process. That's why we say always, if you're training and starting off, go slow, go slow. So there we go, I can practice that. And then there's 2 ways of practicing, well, a couple of ways of practicing these ideas as well. And down low. Back up high. And have some fun with that. So there's some 2-sticks ideas. And then we get into, say, 1-stick. You know, we got stick forms we can do as well. Without going into the stick forms, though, I'm not going to do that right now. Some ideas I can practice is one is called like a big O, right? I got my stick out, and I'm just doing this big, beautiful, see if you can hear my stick go by the mic. Okay? It's coming up, and it's coming under the arm. We call this a big O. Could I go like this, where I'm on the outside of my arm? I could do that as well. And that's just coming through. So you go 1, 2, 1. Shoot that out, 2. Nice, beautiful, long hit. And then learning to have it come up your side, nice and relaxed. You can do the other side as well, left-handed, reaching out. What am I hitting? Hitting my belt. Okay. Big O's. Then we have, as I'm doing that, I might do something like this. And just start playing with the flow of the stick, of the cane. One of the key ideas when you're playing with the flow of the cane is learning to feel the weight of the cane. I don't think enough people talk about this. People want to control it with their wrist. They want to be tight wrist and control everything. But if you're doing like 100 strikes in a row for a long period of time, that's hard to do. It's going to start to create carpal tunnel syndrome. You got to learn to relax. So when we practice our 1 to 12 strikes, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you notice, I'm letting the stick swing through. I'm not doing this. 1, 2. See, this is me controlling it with my wrist. If I let the actual arc take over and I follow the weight of the stick, it wants to go up here. It wants to go over here. So now, I could do that for a very long period of time. And just keep going and play with it without worrying about getting carpal tunnel syndrome or anything else like that. So, finding flow, feeling the weight of the cane. It takes time to develop that, so I'll just drop that as a seed of information that it can grow. And because you have to learn how to do that and still keep a tight grip, but yet loose wrist and relaxation in the arm. But learning to feel the flow of the cane. And just play with that. And then maybe I can do left hand as well. 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. And then you can back to do both hands. We have 2 sticks maybe. What would that look like? I don't know. I'm not going to do it right now. I can. I have done it. But I'm not going to do it right now. That being said, where does that leave us? That leaves us at, these are different things. Again, I said I could practice right now. But let's take a moment and go give me a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. We have 553 subscribers. We're making our way to 1,000. And if you ever wanted to donate to this studio, well, there's a way to do that in the information box below this video on YouTube. That you can do that and find ways to donate. That being said, where else does that leave us? Let's see, what else can we do? Still, I feel Descartes is still out there. Oh, I think she is. Now, what is that? I don't know if that's a hand clap or a hand grabbing a mic. I don't understand these emoji things. They're nuts. All right. So where are we? If you ever want to come out and practice and you're, say, anywhere near, let's go with Vancouver Island. If you're ever traveling or going on a vacation to Vancouver Island, stop by the studio. We're at the south end of the Vancouver Island in a place called Victoria. Where's Vancouver Island though? It's on the west coast of Canada in a province called British Columbia. Not to be confused with Vancouver the city. We are not in the Vancouver city. But yeah, come play, come say hi sometime. Drop in. I have some guys that have done that from Calgary. I've had some guys that have done that from Ontario, and all around, wherever they've come from. Happy to meet you. Got some guys that have done that from Germany. Gosh, there's lots. They just start traveling, and it's great to see. That being said, I almost forgot, if you ever are traveling and you have a CMATS shirt and you're at a special place somewhere around the world and you're wearing your CMATS shirt, take a picture of you in that CMATS shirt and send it to me. And I will put it up on Crackbook or, sorry, Facebook. And I love seeing different pictures of our Modern Arnis shirt or the Modern Arnis cap at different places around the world. Whether I have pictures of it at the Kremlin, we have it on top of a guy riding a donkey down in South America on some mountain pass. We have the shirt on a cruise ship somewhere in the Panama Canal. We've had the shirt in Hawaii. We've had the shirt in China on the Great Wall of China. Lots of different places. So if you're ever traveling, you got a CMATS shirt, please do that. Okay, what else do I get to practice when I'm by myself as well? Well, just good stretching. What's different ways I can stretch with a stick? Well, one of them is I put the stick I grab about the middle, and then I'm just going to invert it, grab the top, and I just kind of stretch it out through here, right in through here. Get a nice, beautiful stretch there. And then from there, I can also put my palm up, reach underneath, and then stretch this way. Really working on the tendons and the muscles here, just like that. The key about this one, when you're stretching this way, is not to let this happen. See how the wrist is kind of bending downward? We don't want that to happen. So I want to keep my fingers strong, and then now I've got a nice straight wrist, and then I torque. And then I switch here, pull back, give a nice little stretch along the forearm, and then palm up, reach underneath, keep this straight as you can, reach underneath and start turning. Don't let the fingers open, keep them shut. And now we have good stretching in and around the wrists. Oh yeah, that's good. And then just relax that out. Okay, so now we've got strikes. Other important things that's good to practice. Am I touching my shoulders? You see me touching my shoulders a lot. I know in a lot of stick arts they touch the shoulders, but I've never heard a lot of people necessarily talk about why. Why touching the shoulders? And there's some common ideas. I think the common ideas is like developing power. You know, if you're out here just waving your stick out here, you're not developing a lot of power. There's a lot of speed, but not a lot of power. If you want to develop that power, you start from your shoulder and you come out and you come out. You can get some good power that way. And even when you're doing your Sinawali's, you're touching your shoulders to get that power-driven shot. You could just sit there and go real fast this way. Wow, look at that go. But again, there's no deliverance of power. When you learn to strike like that, and you're delivering that power to another stick, I guess I could say I've proven over time, the last 20 some odd years, that I can have a stick and it'll last longer than the other person's stick who I'm training with, who isn't striking like that. Because my power seems to deliver it to his stick because of the lack thereof power on his end. Now, if you're some type of physicist or whatever else, I can kind of figure out the reason why. I have had my sticks for a long time, and I'm able to shred other sticks. And I believe it's that deliverance of power that happens as we train. So again, that's one reason to touch that shoulder. And if you have other thoughts on that, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. There's another reason that I think is very important that I've never heard anyone ever talk about. And it's the idea that goes behind safety of why we touch the shoulders. The safety comes from the concept and the idea of when we hit things, there can be a rebound, like a recoil. And it's like you go to hit a tree branch and it does this. It just goes, bonk, hits the branch, bounces off into your face. So when you have two sticks hitting, that bounce right into your head can easily happen. I think I've got a video of that, potentially, of a long time ago, my youngest or my eldest daughter playing on the mats here with a stick, and she hits one of the tires in the background that I have come hanging down in the studio, and she hits the tire, and you can see the stick hit her in the head, and then she turns away from the camera and she's rubbing her head. It's quite cute. But on that note, it was a great lesson for her to start learning to not only strike, but then go to touch her shoulder. Because why? As we strike, we are following up with this idea that the stick is going to go to the shoulder. So even if it recoils, it'll go right by as you bring it back to your shoulder. If all you ever did was just do this, it's just going to recoil, rebound back into your face. This happens. I've seen it happen a lot. I've seen it happen when people are practicing two sticks in a wally and they're going hard and fast, but they're not coming back to touch their shoulders. And what happens? They go hard and fast, they're getting a good sweat on, and bam, a guy gets a bleeding nose from not teaching himself, learn to touch the shoulders. So I suggest going hard and fast when you've put a lot of work in. If you haven't put a lot of work in, but you're finding it funny and you're going hard and fast, maybe put on a mask or something. Something that'll protect you. I've seen enough little things happen. So, that being said, that is one of the reasons I think that people are missing out on as to not only are we developing power, but on the way back, we are protecting ourselves. So even when I hit and come back this way and bring it back to this shoulder, pop here and I'm bringing it back to this shoulder, right? And I'm touching and I'm bringing it back. That's important. So you can practice that both left and right. So when I'm here striking, I strike down two sticks in a wally. Most people can get this down. See, they strike, they touch, they strike. They strike, they touch, they strike. But there's two other touches they're missing. Let's look at those. I start touching my shoulder. I hit, I touch, I strike, I touch, I hit, I touch, I strike, I touch, I hit, I touch, I strike, I touch. It's these touches right here when I come back that I see a lot of people missing as well. So if you can hit and touch every time, challenge yourself. See if you can do that. Have some fun with it. That being said, do you guys have any questions out there? I got my chat board up. Love to hear from you. Say hi if you're still out there, and if you got a sound check and video check, if all's working well. We have done recordings before in the past when we've lost internet connection, didn't know, but the camera was still running. So there's a couple little things we can do working on when I'm by myself. Also, another little concept. I haven't really put this one out there before, but it's one I like to do. It's the idea of learning to bring this elbow in, okay? And what happens, this all has to be relaxed. It has to be relaxed, because if it's not, you can see the person trying to grab, and that's not going to be effective. You want to relax and snap the elbow in. You're learning to bring the elbow in. And what happens as you do that, did you hear that? You almost, I'll do it down by the mic, okay? You can almost hear every finger going dunk, 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 right one after the other. I'm not trying to grab, I'm not trying, it's just allowing that to happen, where you're practicing bringing those elbows in, snapping that in. And this is one of those things I do on my own as well. You can practice pulling a rope. This is weird, but I like thinking I'm pulling a rope into my belly button, like the umbilical cord, if you will, back in the day. I feel like I'm reeling in this concept. And you could easily do 50, 100 of those, and just learning that relaxation. Because last week I think we worked on the idea of, can soft overtake someone being strong? And I think I proved that in last week's video. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link on my channel. It'll say, is a soft beat strong or something like that. You can go check that out on our channel, in our playlist, or in our, not the playlist, but in the live section area. You won't see it in the videos area. That's a lot of fishing stuff that I do on this channel as well. But in the live area, we got a lot more modern Arnis stuff there. That being said, put the sticks back in my hand. So that's another little exercise you can put a lot of emphasis on, and has a lot of rewards in everything that we do with the art, with the stick in our hand. What else could I do? Am I missing something? Does someone else out there know what I practice sometimes when I'm on my own, and can jot it up? Let me know on the message board if you're out there, okay? Now there's a lot of different hitting patterns you can do, but let's just work on this idea. Here's one more idea that's very important. When you see people initially in the beginning of class twirling sticks, we teach here at CMATS the idea of gripping 3 fingers strong. The thumb and forefinger are here, but they're relaxed. It's not injection, and I'm not twirling like this. See how my elbow barely moves? See, here's my stick. It's like barely moves here. Now, if I'm doing this, okay, there's the elbow's barely moving. You can see that. But when I grip strong, whoa, do you see how it popped over there? It moves like almost 3 inches. And that tells me I can see when people have their grip strong, or when they're trying to do this, if they're trying to do it real fast and they're just kind of letting their hand open a bit. I can see that from a mile away because I just looked for the elbow. Okay, that might have been an exaggeration. I may not see that from a mile away, but I'll say a good at least 50 feet. Let's start with that. So here we are, twirling, going backward, up, down. You can see my elbow wants to sway in and then sway out. And that's how we learn to do that, grabbing a cane and not letting this happen. As soon as you start to let this happen right there, this is a great chance for a disarm, a great chance to disarm yourself. And we don't want to leave that opportunity. So we're developing this idea of a good, strong grip. Well, what else do I get to practice tonight? So that's one eye concept. I'm going up and down. I can do that with both sticks. One single O, we call it, right there, up. My elbows almost touch. My elbows almost touch. And then you can do doubles. And then you want to get into coordination. What if we send one down and one up? And then bring that one back down and bring the other one back up. what if we marry it together? What if we just do both at the same time? And then what if we add doubles to that? And you can have some fun with it. So you could say I've been playing with sticks for a long time to figure out some of this stuff, play with it, and how that all translates into empty hand, you get to find out when we go person to person empty hand. I'm having thoughts. What else should I share? What else can I share that you guys might like out there? Checking out these videos. We discussed that. There's footwork and stuff, but I'm not going to turn on that camera right now. I got the bottom camera, but I'm not going to turn that on right now. But let's see, if I go through that. How about this? If we're working on, I'll go through one stick form one. Stick forms are always great for practicing. Little side note before we get into it. I did a lot of forms when I was younger. I started doing different forms of other martial arts, age 5. By age 8 to like age 14, I was doing thousands, like of repetitions and practices of doing forms. And one thing that maybe I didn't hear as a youngster, but I figured out as an adult, because when I started doing this art, I didn't want to learn the forms. I had done so much of it, I was good. And then someone happened to say to me, what about the footwork? Have you ever concentrated on the footwork of forms? Not this stuff up here. Concentrated on the footwork and forms. And I went, okay, well, I can do the footwork. And they said, yeah, but have you concentrated on it? So then I started concentrating on it. And that's where I fell in love with, anyways, these forms, the stick, modern Arnis forms. Because the footwork of it is actually challenging. It creates an understanding of using footwork not as just for balance or for power, but for measuring distance even, fighting distance. Different concepts like that. So, not to get into it too much, but if you're into forms or you're not into forms, maybe you could be challenged by the idea of going, have you really ever sunk your teeth into the footwork of whatever art or whatever form you do? So if I'm doing stick form 1 here in this art, I come out. If you notice, you won't be able to see my feet a lot, but I'm marrying my feet up and I come out. But back here, even when I first took that step out, my heel's up. I'm not leaving my heel flat. So my heel's up. The heel's up because I create a war between my legs. The front leg is kind of pushing back a little bit, and the back leg on the spring is kind of bringing me forward. So they're kind of keeping that center. So then as I'm coming out with 1, I come forward, the legs marry, and then I move out because I don't want to walk like this. I want to be almost floating and moving with my core, with my center. That's very balanced, okay? And then again, so I'm here, I'm like, save, come in, I cross. This one here, the palm is up. The other palm is up. But one of the things I see people do when they cross is they go like this. Now my stick's pointed backwards. When I cross, I leave my stick pointed forward. Then from there, as I step into 3, again, my foot, 90% weight on my front, 10% on my back. I bring this up, you barely see that happening. And then this goes behind and I slice up. Then from there, I step back and hit. Then from there, I step back and hit. Again, my heels are still high. They're not down low. I step forward, block, step forward, block. When you're doing these blocks, ask someone to hit you. Stop, hold your position, and ask someone to hit you. So when I'm blocking like this, if I ask someone to hit me right now, I'd get hit. I'm doing the move, But I'd get hit because the stick would come right through here and connect with my nose. My stick should be there. And then I crawl out and I cross here. Now I know the stick will miss me. Is the stick high enough or is it too low? Is it going to come over top and hit me? So you want to have these things figured out. I step back. I'm still pointing that stick, come back with it, I can add an eco hit, let that go around, and then strike again, number 10, and I'm back here. And that would be all of stick form 1. Yeah, so that's another thing I like to practice sometimes when I'm on my own here at CMATS, and I just walk out on the mats. If you ever have any questions about it, you can email cmats@modernarnis.ca. You can go to our Facebook. We have Facebook CMATS-Modern Arnis, or else it's Modern Arnis-CMATS. One of those two will work. We also have on Facebook a different page, which is called the Canadian Modern Arnis Training Studios, which is what CMATS stands for. That being said, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think I've left enough information for people practicing all around Canada or around the world. If you ever want to, chime in and chat with us. Next Wednesday we'll be back. Maybe Big Steve will be back on the mats. Maybe medium-sized Juan Antonio. But for now, it was just me. And after I'm done this video, I might do a little more practicing. So great to see everyone tonight. Thanks for joining in. And again, give us a thumbs up on this video and do subscribe to our channel as we make our way to 1,000 subscribers. We're taking the long road. We're not purchasing any or anything like that. We could purchase subscribers, I heard, but we're not going to do that. I want people that go, yes, I want to watch your channel, or I don't want to watch your channel. And yes, you will start to see, as we move forward, some boating videos on this channel, whether I'm fishing or whether I'm working on the boat. Both those types of videos come on this channel as well, but they're in different playlists. And sometimes we got some kids stuff. It's mainly about martial arts, which is why it's under CMATS, the CMATS YouTube channel. It's mainly martial arts, but those are some side hobbies and stuff that we do that lets people engage with the channel and also gets us more subscribers. So they can come here for fishing and boating, and they can come here for martial arts as well, and sometimes some kid stuff too. So anyways, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week, and anything I'm forgetting? No. Thank you very much. Have a great week, everyone. And Igor in the background there says hi. Yeah. He's got some type of weird hat on. I think it's from Japan. He might be a fox or a wolf. I don't know. Anyways, good night, everyone.